It's early morning, and a bird's eye view of Belle Nursery reveals an expanding business with neat blocks of beautiful plants, rows of greenhouses, and advanced technology. These are also the last moments before the heart of the operation starts to beat and the morning calm transforms into an inspiring energy that can't and won't be stopped. It's only one morning, but it's the script for how the story of Belle is getting written. The people of Belle are on the move.
Everyone has value and innate talent and an ability to give and contribute. We give a lot and we expect a lot, but I think people rise up to that challenge. People are what makes business go.
"50 years ago, it was two adventurous people, Bill and Grace, who took a big risk and began the story of Belle Nursery.
We were here on our honeymoon, and this is 1970, of course, when we were in our honeymoon. We thought there was a better opportunity here, and we were involved with family, which, classic case, sometimes we're better apart than close, and so that's why we moved out here. My mom and dad both liked plants. We always grew a lot of plants in the house. I really enjoyed going to the University of Guelph, taking the 2-year diploma course in horticulture. I like plants. I did then, I still do. Even today, when I go to Claiborne and I see rooting on a little potentilla, I still get excited. When I go to Page Creek and I see those trucks all lined up and the stuff is just flowing, I'm still excited. So the adrenaline is still there, even after all these years.
Some of my earliest memories, my parents didn't have a lot of staff, so hey, they grew their own, so to speak. So it was myself plus 3 siblings, and so every day after school, get off the bus, 3:15, we would work together for an hour. I think I started out at 25 cents an hour. Every day, oh, here's your quarter. Run upstairs, put it in my piggy bank, and keep it. So then started to learn, work equals money, equals freedom, equals goodness. After university, I didn't know what to do. And so my dad said, Dave, you know what, if you want to come back and work for the company, and if you like it after a year, and if I like it after a year, then we'll consider talking. We came back here and I worked for a year as a salesperson, and I really liked it. The opportunity was there for me to eventually run the company. And that was kind of what really drew me. One day he said, Dave, you think you can do it so much better than me? Why don't you become president? And then our relationship got much better when we switched roles. I was like, now, Dad, what do you think? So I was asking him a lot of questions, and it kind of works well.
I would say, if I'm being very objective, he's an excellent leader. And it's hard as a parent to be objective, but that's what I would say. Now, when Dave became leader, I've always said, listen, if Dave and I have an argument in front of you and you have to make a decision, do it on Dave's way of thinking, because an airplane's only got one pilot, and that's Dave. I've always said that, as much as I sometimes disagree with what airport we're going to.
I made lots of mistakes, and he helped me and allowed me to grow, make those mistakes too. And he always said, hey, the guy who doesn't get out of bed in the morning doesn't make any mistakes either. So get out of bed, get to work, get going. And so I kind of took that philosophy to heart. So at no time did I ever think that I wanted to do this for my life career. Now, I've grown to love plants more and more over time, and they do give me joy at some level too. The primary motivation though was working with people. Seeing people who might not have a great chance somewhere else come here and thrive. And they might be overlooked somewhere else for whatever reason. Maybe it's their language barrier or their gender or who knows what. That is a joyful time for me. So if we can make our people do better, everything gets better for our business, our community, our country, society at large. We want to work with people we like, and we like a lot of people. So how do we work more together? And you know what? You'd be amazed when you give people a chance how they respond and grow. And it's unbelievable what people can do. I am amazed weekly at what people's creativity is or how they can come up with ideas. And we don't get everything right, but we're working on it. And so the principle of continuous improvement, find a better way, one of our core values, I think that's more important than ever.
Throughout the years, Belle always embraced their Find a Better Way core value to bring greater value to partners all around North America. In the 1990s, the major investment of the rolling bench system for young plant propagation was the largest exterior installation of its kind in North America, bringing greater efficiency, better working conditions and stronger performing plants. In 2012, the concept for Bloomin' Easy was born. In 2014, the Flogo shipping system was launched, which was the first potless, no-waste shipping innovation, saving growers labor and waste. And in 2016, the proprietary rocket liner growing system brought greater input performance to growing partners. A recent development was the 2022 release of the smaller input Jetpack, backed by rocket liner technology.
Controlling our own destiny is super important to me because I don't want to be sitting there at the mercy of someone else who makes a decision in a faraway city about what we're doing here as a life. Part of it is, that's why we want to be in partnership with other people. It's also partly why we started Bloomin' Easy, because we want other people to also feel, hey, this is their brand and they can grow and they can be successful with it too, because they don't have to be under the thumb of anybody. And we're not the biggest company, so we have to be a little bit smarter, a little bit quicker, a little more innovative, and a little more in tune than the next guy. And so we're trying to do that as best we can.
I think there were quite a few different reasons we decided to kind of go for it and start working on the concept of Bloomin' Easy back in 2012. At that time, there were a number of companies in our industry already doing some great things, pioneering the brands, and a lot of good things were happening in our industry because of that. But we also saw an opportunity to do things a little differently, to put our spin on things, greater focus on younger homeowners was one thing we really were excited about. We knew there were people who need a lot of help to have success with plants. So that's where we focused all of our efforts. How could we make this more inviting to people that didn't know a lot about plants? They loved the idea of having a beautiful yard, but also were scared about failing. One innovation we brought was to be the first shrub brand to offer sign-ups for care reminders. We just launched our new Bloomin' Easy Care Plus app, a really cool tool that serves those people who just kind of need more help. We have a lot of plants, I think over 75 now in the program. We have hundreds of nurseries growing the program and thousands of garden centers carrying Bloomin' Easy all around North America. It's, I think, bigger than we first imagined, but we also know we have a huge road ahead and a lot of growth that can still happen. We know that nursery owners are big on freedom, and so are we. They want to create more freedom through their business and not be controlled by other entities. Giving them another way to control their own destiny, that's what gives us a lot of joy as we keep growing with the people that are behind us and we keep growing with the brand.
We've got customers now that have been with us for more than 30 years. And you know, when I think about that, I'm very grateful. And we know those people, we know their families, we know their history, we know them as people and what they're all about and what's important to them. So having those relationships is really, really critical and deeply satisfying too.
This partnership idea has been there since day one. 50 years ago, my in-laws, when we started selling into Ontario, my in-laws would come in, look after these guys. My wife and I'd go for a week and talk to the garden center owners. 50 years later, we are doing the same thing. When our sales associate go see a customer, they can tell them some of the problems we're having. So they're not commissioned salesmen, they're actually partners. Everybody knows it's not perfect, everybody can relate to other people without being sappy, without being superficial. And that means you can have a deep discussion with your partner on the other side of the buying.
You really have to have that mindset about growing the pie. If you think the pie is only this big and I'm going to take the whole thing, and if I have a piece, that means you're not going to, it's just a terrible way to live. Can we not grow the pie together? If we can share our experiences, we can really grow and learn together. So I'm really hoping that with our salespeople, with our staff, with our partners too, that we will continue to learn from each other for a long time to come. I would say thank you to all our customers. It's really a pleasure to work with so many great people in this industry. And you know, you get to know them as friends, as colleagues, as advisors even, and you get, I think, close relationships. And so for our customers, our partners, we hope that you will feel the partnership from us. And I would like to say thank you.